looks like my very first slide, I had already done a trade at this point, and I ended up making 125 on that trade, but I did not catch the screenshots of that, so I don't know where or how that happened. There was a CPI report that came out, and so that's what this great big jog upwards was that happened at 8:30, about 8 minutes ago. So I made a second trade, and it looks like I lost $100. And I can see by the MACD right through here and just the general trend that I'm kind of expecting that it's downturning. I probably did a short, and that didn't go well because it is still kind of going up. So I'm sitting at a $25 profit right now and trying to figure out my next move. I waited for a little bit longer to see. I'm still thinking a short at this point is in order. It's possible it could get up to that point, but I'm really not inclined to think so, even though we've had this great big red candle movement. So I did get into a short, and again, it's moving really fast at this point, so I kind of missed the first little leg of it there. But when it broke through that resistance level, I went ahead and just threw in my order right there and got into a short. I put in my exit order down here at the SMA support level, which is quite a distance down there. And it dropped down to that point and took my order. So my third trade, I was up at 262.50 and kind of trying to figure out what the next move is. All right, so it bounced off of that resistance level, went up a little ways, and then started to fall again. And the MACD looks like it's maybe still dropping, but it might be turning up. However, if you look at the longer term charts over here, you can definitely see that we probably are looking at a bigger drop coming. So I did a short, even though the MACD on the short term chart here is not looking like that or bearing that out. All right, it kind of broke through it a little bit, but then bounced up, and I put in my exit order down here at the Fibonacci line, which is like the peaks that you see right through here earlier today. No stop in place here at this point. The MACD is a little scary right through here. Oh, wait a minute. I am out of a trade at this point. So 237, okay, so I actually got out at a very, very small profit. My fourth trade, excuse me, that's what happened there. So I think it maybe started to scare me a little bit by going up, and so when it came down, I just got out at a small profit. Okay, so it kind of leveled out. It's drifting upwards a little bit. It's kind of holding on that yellow SMA. The MACD did kind of fizzle out here, you can see, and started to drop again. And you can also see on the longer term charts, the 15 and 30, that the MACD is definitely looking like it's turning and about ready to drop some more. So I put in a short order here and got filled, and it fluctuated through here a little bit more, and I'm holding on to this trade. Let me go back one more time. Okay, yep, this is my fifth trade, still in it. It did go the wrong way for a little while there. I put in an exit order down here where I thought probably it would be likely to go, but it looks like at the moment it is going the wrong way, which is not good. Didn't get up very far, started to drop a little bit more. And now the MACD looks like it's doing really well, and it actually matches with what you see on the longer term charts. So I'm hopeful. And then it did indeed drop a good ways. And since this is a good trade for me, I put in a stop order to lock in my profits, hoping that it will execute down here. And it looks like it actually got stopped out. So I made really good profit on that one. I'm sitting at 412.50, and it is only 9.49. So I kept trading. It started to go up here, the MACD, and you can see the movement right through here, hit resistance level and started to drop again. So I immediately put in a short order, kind of missed again the first little bit of the leg there. And looking at the longer term chart, I am thinking that it's probably going to get down to that 50% level pretty easily, that's a good trade. That's a really good trade, actually. And it doesn't look like it would be that far to drop. So I put in my exit order right there. And it's kind of sitting at that above on the Fibonacci line. It's sitting right there. Jumped up, and I'm still holding on here. This is only an $887.50 loss that I'm sitting in for this one trade, and so I'm still in the positive territory. And I zipped up to the 5-minute chart up here. So sometimes it helps to kind of balance this smaller chart out if I then look at the 5-minute chart as well. So it bounced up. You can see it's kind of hit a resistance level with the SMAs right through there, just like we see it on this chart actually. Not too worried at this point. The MACD, it does look like it's still dropping. And then it did jump all the way down there, and I think I got out, I don't know if it was actually the order. Let me go back to that last one. So I placed the order right at the 6,002.40 cents and 6,002. I bet that's exactly where I had my order. So it actually filled my order where I had it. And now I'm sitting at $712.50, and it is 10:05. And I would like to say that I stopped there, but that was such an incredibly good day. And we had this huge big drop. I'm just like, oh man, I missed out. And the FOMO, I think, got a hold of me. And I thought, oh man, I think there's more money to be had here. And I think I know what the market's doing. I do think it's going to be dropping. So I made a bad order. I did another short. And I can see almost as soon as I placed it, honestly, I could see it was not a good time to do a short because we've already had this big movement and it started to bounce. But I was in, and it started to move pretty fast, and it went up a little ways and then started to look like maybe it was going to drop some more. So I was hopeful. I really was. I'd only lost 237 at this point. I could have, and I should have, put in a stop right through here because this is still a really good profitable day. I mean, that's pretty rare for me to make even that much less the 700. But when you've tasted the sweetness of making 700, you want to get it back. And it blinds your thinking, is all I can say. I put in an order down here, and it zipped up there, and this is at 10:11. I lost everything at that point. And I was actually $87.50 in the hole just 11 minutes later. Devastating and frustrating. And I thought, well, if I made it once, I could probably do it again. So I held on to that short all the way through here and kept holding on. And I was really hopeful that it would just come back down again. And this is another really bad scenario that I tend to get myself into when I'm not thinking clearly. Is if you're hanging on to a trade like that, you tend not to think very clearly about where it's going, and so you hang on in spite of what maybe the market is really doing. So when it dropped down to this point, I was actually in the green again, $237. Again, I could have stopped right there. It does kind of look like we're at a resistance level. It's possible that it'll drop further, but I don't know at this point. It's very possible. I mean, honestly, I'm looking at the MACDs and I can see why I hung on. This looks like it's dropping. That looks like it's dropping. That looks like it's dropping. We've had this huge drop already, which has blown through the lows that it's made for a long time. I can see why I held on, honestly, but it was not a good idea. And then, of course, you get tired and you get discouraged and you just kind of wander away and do other things because you hate sitting here trading and losing money, and you keep holding on to this stupid hope that it's going to come back. And this is an hour later, so I have not been watching it this entire time, just hoping that it will drop, and you can see that it did not. It kept going up. And so in one trade, I lost $1,400. And so now I've not gained 700, I've lost 775. So, not good at all. Still hanging on to it. It did drop down, and I was hopeful for a little while there, but it popped right back up again. This is 11:53 now at this point. It went all the way up to the 0% line on the Fibonacci. So now I'm sitting at a $987 loss and still hanging on to this stupid trade, waiting for it to drop. And at this point, I just gave up. I waited for it to at least be on the lower end of where it was going, because now we've developed this beautiful upwards channel that I didn't trade at all. And I really could have easily, traded that channel. Not that I should have, but holding on to it through all that was just absolute insanity. And I've got no reason to back up my actions on that. I don't know. Just get careless, I think, sometimes, I don't know why. But anyway, so I got out here, and so I'm sitting at a $925 loss here, and I did get into a short, but I have a linked order here, a linked exit order, a stop, and a limit, and got stopped out. So going short is not a good idea, and went short again here. And again, I'm on the long-term charts, maybe I could see going short here, but not on the short term. This was not a good call. My thinking was definitely impaired at this point. So I'm in a short here. It did drop, actually. All right, I made a little bit, and I got out, and then I got into another short, but I canceled the stop at this point, and it didn't go the right way until here. So it did actually make some money. So I got my losses back down to 762. It went up, and then I got into another short here when it hit that resistance level and started to drop, and I put in my exit order here. It looks like I'm in the green here, so that's actually good. I missed out on this drop right through here, but I did get out of this trade. So now I'm out. I think let me go back and look. Nope, I actually lost $50 on that last trade because I didn't quite get out in time. So now I've whittled my losses down to 662, and it is 2:34 in the afternoon, and I feel like with just a little more effort, I could probably get back out of the hole entirely. That's kind of my goal at this point. That's the only explanation I've got. I did do a short here, and you can definitely see we're dropping through here, but we are sitting at a support level through here, and here as well. So it is possible it'll drop, but not sure, not 100% sure. Okay, that's looking good. And it got filled, so now I've got my losses whittled back down to 362 because I kept trading and was proactive in getting in and out. So I've got to remember that if I ever get into a position where I've lost some of the wonderful profit that I've made, just get out, because you can always keep trading, and going in and out quickly is a way better way to trade than just holding on stupidly to a trade. It never works to do that. It's just way too volatile, and it's much easier to make these smaller predictions. Okay, 2:40 in the afternoon, got my losses whittled down to 362. Of course, I kept trading because my goal now is to get out of the hole entirely and maybe even to make a little profit. When it went flat through here and then started to nose over, I did another short at that point, which actually worked out really well. It dropped down to here. I put a limit order in, and judging by where this limit order is sitting compared to the price, I would say it's all of a sudden moving really fast. So that's interesting. At 305, it does tend to speed up. I haven't traded a great deal right before closing bell, but I have a little bit of experience with that, and it does have this last boost of energy right before the market closes. So I was kind of banking on that. So I've gotten my losses now whittled down to $212. Fabulous, absolutely fabulous. But I've made 15 trades now. All right, so again, probably should have stopped at this point. Should have stopped a long time ago. But anyway, this is not bad at all. And okay, so I got into a short here because it looks like it's kind of hit resistance and maybe dropping, but I am taking a pretty big risk here because we're still sitting at support and I haven't got a stop in. So I am not being very cautious here at all. I'm kind of being pretty careless. And you can see it bouncing now. You can see a pretty good bounce, and this is really concerning to me. So it hit that and maybe started to fall, and I reversed at this point because it was definitely not going the direction I suspected, and I wanted to not be in a short. In fact, I wanted to be in a long, so I switched to that, but I kind of caught it right at the peak there. It did go up a little bit further, and let me go back and look. What did I do? Short? I don't know that it caught it there. I put in an order to reverse here, but I'm still in a short at this point. So I don't know what happened. I think I did get into a long. But here I'm in a short again. I don't know how that all happened. That happened very quickly. All right, so I'm in a short again because I think maybe it's going to drop, and then it went up a little bit further. I'm kind of second guessing myself again and changing directions way too quickly and not really thinking clearly, and I'm exhausted at this point, which is another reason you don't want to keep trading all day. It's just too grueling to do that. All right, so back up to a $650 loss, 17 trades. And I got out at this point. I think I got stopped out. So there's that anyway. All right. When it bounced off of that and started to drop, I did another short, and I did what I should have done. And I put in a stop to follow and lock in the profits. I have an exit order in down here at a pretty reasonable spot, and that got filled. So that was awesome. Got into another short at this point. And I can see why on the 15-minute chart that I did that, because it seemed to go up and then start to drop again. And so I think that was just a little bit of a breather, and I think it's going to keep dropping. I really do. But it didn't. It went up. And now I'm at an $887 loss, and it's hit that resistance level again. I'm kind of expecting it to bounce and drop again. And it did. All right. So then it came down to here, and I put in an exit order at a very small profit after I waited all this awful time when it was going up. All of a sudden it started to trickle down pretty quickly, and I got out right there. It's 353 at this point. So I got out, whittled my losses down to 537 again, done 19 trades. So now the commissions are something that I have to consider. You can see my actual loss right up here is 676. So that means I've got about $130 in commissions at this point. So, that's another reason to not keep trading. All right. Got into a long at this point, and I can see why I did that. The MACD is looking good. It's going up. I do not have a stop in place, but it's looking good. And it came up, and I got out of that trade. Now I've got my losses down to 325. And it's 359. So this is happening very quickly. Not a lot of time to think about it. Okay. It kind of seemed to slow down and perhaps turn. So I did a short here, and I can see the MACD. Can see why I did that. The 30-minute chart's the only one I can really see that being a good one. This one's still dropping, I suppose. There's maybe more room to drop. Did a short, didn't go the right way. It started to go up. So I reversed again. I put in an order for 2 to ride it up the rest of the way to the blue line there. Put in my exit order just above the blue line. So I ended up losing 710 by the end of the day. And it was a real tug of war. And I traded all the way to 4:20 in the evening. And so that was a really bad day. So anyway,